trying to stand up for, like, say anything to initiate it. They just are, and someone's attacking them for who they are without even being provoked.
Welcome to Invite Sent. We are a live streaming show where we interview people and play video games.
Help is on the way, dear.
Did he make it in? Did he get all 20? Yes, way to go. If you'd like to be on Invite Sent, be interviewed, and play video games, please go to 𝗙𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃 and request to be on the show. And I'll let you know if the invite is sent. Yeah, get him.
There you go.
Welcome to Invite Sent. Boom! It's an issue with our industry for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Bubba, being in the fighting game community is a hot take for anybody watching.
If you're feeling uncomfortable, imagine how often and how regularly the person you're trying to stand up for feels that way, and they don't even say anything to initiate it. They just are.
Hello, and welcome to Good Morning Gamers. That's right, Good Morning Gamers. Hello in the chat. We are live on multiple platforms. Today, as always, Kick, Twitch, Twitter, 2 Twitters, 2 YouTubes, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you guys for being here today. Really appreciate it. We've got a really fun show in store, a really important show, I believe. And we've got some amazing guests that are going to come and talk about the things that are important. Hello, Sophia. Welcome to chat. Margie, hello. Welcome. Thank you guys, John, for being here all over the platforms. If you got questions today, please drop them in the chat. morning. And if you got something you want to say, I'm going to pop up on the screen and have the members of the show answer. We will do that as long as it's appropriate, right? But not something like saying anything weird. Well, we'll have some fun. But I'm super pumped to bring in some amazing guests here in a minute. But I want you to know that later today, we're going to play some Fall Guys on the show Invite Sent, where we ask people tough questions while we interview them, while we play video games. And next week we've got some other fun shows where we're going to be interviewing people like Paul Santoro, Paulie Hype, BJ Fink. If you're out there and you want to be on the show, talk about your latest book, talk about the industry you work in or any organization you work for, yeah, I'd love to have you on the show. We've got lots of openings over the next few months. And I'm just pumped today because we do have some amazing guests that said yes just recently to talk about the amazing things they're doing. And I'm going to bring in these super duper people right now. Annabel, Alan, Tyler, welcome. How are you guys? Awesome. Well, thank you all for taking the time to really just plug in. I know we've got a few people behind the scenes, like Sarah Harris, who's really been just helping coordinate all this. And I think Richard and Cole, other people who have been involved in making sure that this show happens today. But I want to make sure we also talk about what you guys are doing and just spend some time getting to know you, as well as get the information you guys have out about Melanin Gamers, the watch, toxicity rating, everything else out to the public in all of our spaces. So to start off, how we start off typically is, what was the first video game you ever played? And we'll start with Annabelle, Alan, and then Tyler. What's the first video game you ever played? Oh, okay. Yeah. Diddy Kong. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Alan?
Blurred, but it's called Micromax on PS1, and yeah, this is the first game that really told me that, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to spend an unhealthy amount of hours into. So yeah, that was for me. Awesome.
So Annabelle said Diddy Kong Racing, and that was that on PlayStation 1, you said?
Oh, for me? Or...
Yeah, for Alan, for you.
For me, it was on PlayStation 1. Yeah,
okay.
It's called Micromaniacs.
Wow. Amazing. Micromaniacs. Anything to do with Micro Machines?
Similar, where it's like small people running around and racing. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, Tyler, first video game for you.
I'm gonna age myself here, but I was playing duck hunting with the little orange rifle where you point at the screen. Played a lot of it growing up.
Duck hunt, yeah. Did you do like most of us did, and you put your like gun right to the screen so it could actually register?
Yeah, well, we also had like a 15-inch TV back in the day. Like back then, you know, you couldn't get large screens, so we definitely had the rifle very close to the TV screen there.
Okay, nice. Benjamin Tar says, "Love Duck Hunt, VEF, yes, Donkey, Diddy Kong Racing." I learned something about how that worked, but I can't remember now for the life of me how that gun worked on the screen, because it didn't like, you know, like the Wii is different and the Xbox Connect is different. So definitely was some style with the TV. I can't remember. I saw a video, but it didn't stay. It didn't stick with my ADD. Okay, so I want the audience to get to know you guys a little bit more. Annabelle and Alan, you're related. You're brother and sister, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. The shade has been thrown already. We just started. Golly. I'd do the same with my brother. So where'd you guys grow up?
We grew up in London.
London. Ooh,
Good
what
old
part?
London.
What part?
Northwest London. So like Camden Borough, I want to say. It's like a whole
Okay.
borough, like a large area.
Okay. Oh man, what was Alan? What was the most memorable thing besides fighting with your sister? It sounds like in Northwest London.
I don't know. We can be pretty. Actually, I'm gonna show my age a little bit, but I grew up during the 2000 era. So for me, it was the times when being a video game nerd wasn't really in fashion. So I always had to like temper my knowledge when it came to it. If I showed too much knowledge to my friends, they'd be like, Whereas nowadays I can just freely be a nerd and just like, it's just really nice. So yeah.
I love that. And Tyler, you grew up in Canada? Canada? Is that where you are?
Yep. I grew up in Toronto, just a suburb outside of Toronto.
Okay, Toronto, nice. And that's from what I understand, like 90% of people live south of some line. They're close to Michigan or the Great Lakes in Canada. And
pretty much. It gets very cold here. That's why.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm in Kansas City, but what games? So, Annabelle, you were playing Apex, and what other games are you playing right now?
Rise of the Ronin.
Rise of the Ronin. I was just watching Hawkeye with my sons last night, my two older boys, and they were, I don't know if the Ronin, or if you know about the Ronin, the character Hawkeye, and there, but I'm obviously now thinking of Keanu Reeves, and this is probably not the same thing that you're talking about, the Ronin in this game.
No, it's I would compare it to Ghost of Tsushima more than anything else.
Right.
Yeah, that style of game is really interesting. I really like it.
And Alan, what game are you into right now, or games?
I'm playing an unhealthy amount of Helldivers, and I'm just spreading managed democracy to the people, to those terminids.
Unhealthy amount. Let's use that with Elder Scrolls, World of Warcraft. That's a very common phrase I hear. Unhealthy amount. Sure. Tyler, have you gotten in any games recently? With your friends, Xbox?
Yeah, I just finished playing Starfield.
You finished?
Spent an unhealthy amount of time. Well, I pretty much beat everything you can possibly beat in the game, so I've just been waiting for an update. And I play PUBG. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine.
Sure.
I know the fan base isn't that big on console, but love the game.
Wow. Yeah, 100%. Well, great. Well, I'm glad this kind of gets us kind of familiar with each other, and lets the audience kind of chime in a little bit. If you guys are in the chat, feel free to drop in your favorite game, or maybe your first game, or what you're playing now. Love to hear from you guys on what you're playing. I want to jump into what Melanin Gamers is. I'd love to hear the history, the catalyst for it starting, where and when it started. Annabelle, can I lean on you for this to direct us on what is Melanin Gamers, when did it start, and why?
Sure. What is Melanin Gamers? It's a gaming community that promotes diversity and inclusion. video games industry. We do that threefold in esports, content creation, and actually working in the industry. So we put on panel talks. We work with a lot of schools and colleges and universities. I guess you guys say colleges for universities, but colleges here is like between, I want to say like 16 and 18. That's when you go to college or sixth form. So we work a lot with them to promote not esports, gaming. Why did we start Melanin Gamers? Also, we have a D&I consultancy as of last year. The reason why we started Melanin Gamers, loads of different things, more representation in gaming to make the online space safer in terms of toxicity, and just promote, like, I suppose, healthy gaming in general. Why it started, loads of different reasons, but there's a story I'll tell it today. Alan is here, but the story involves him. I have two brothers, by the way. That Alan is one of my brothers, and Adam is also another brother. He's younger than both of us, like significantly younger.
I knew you were going to add the significantly. Just how you can't help it.
He is very much the baby of the family. Yeah. So what happened was Alan was playing Overwatch, and he wanted to make Grandmaster. And he had a team that he'd been like gaming with, and we have an older sister who doesn't know anything about gaming and things like that. And so she walked in, and his own teammates were being really racist towards him, and she was like, pause the game. It's Overwatch, it's an online game, you can't pause the game. That's how little she knows. And she called our parents and like, listen to this, why is his teammates treating him like this? I knew about it, but I was hesitant to say anything because one, that's how gaming is, and two, he wants to make Grandmaster. Like, what? Like, you know, it's very difficult to like step in. Anyway, our parents stepped in, and Alan got banned off the game for 3 months and didn't make Grandmaster. And Adam, I know, I'm sorry. Adam started getting bullied in school and didn't say anything about it because he saw what happened to Alan as punishment. So something must have been wrong with him to get bullied. And I was like, that is not how the world works. And we shouldn't. And I remember Alan told me something like, who wins if I stop playing? Like, it felt like he was punished from playing his favorite game. And I was like, he's right. And it didn't sit right with me. And I was like, we can't keep doing this. It's wrong. And so I guess that was the needle that broke the camel's back in terms of, you know, enough is enough. Let's do something.
Wow. Hey, Alan, how do your take on all this? I mean, and then what's your role in the organization as well?
So my take on all this is the story is true, but it's always like nice to like reflect on this story because to me, I grew up in like the Xbox 360 era, the early 2000s, where it's like that just was like the norm in game, where it's like you jumped on a mic and you just expected it, and it's like having my sister like reflecting back on it, having my sister like walk into the room and just seeing that kind of behavior, it really like makes me remember like, oh, this is just, to me during that period, this was just normal. But like seeing my sister's reaction to like, this is never acceptable, was always really, really interesting in retrospect. But as to your question, my role in this organization is to, one, I curate a lot of the panels. So I do a lot of the panels that we do when we showcase, because my mind is just so amazing when it comes to video games that my sister just has to lean on me. She just can't help it.
I feel like even without her talking, there's some disagreement.
And also I do event coordination, so whenever we also host tournaments and networking opportunities just to really connect the youths to the actual industry insiders as well, because there's still a lot of like mystery when it comes to the video games industry. Like we still get people who think that, you know, video games are only made by programmers and that's it. So there is like, we will also try and showcase a lot of like the vocations that you can find within the games industry, and it can be a real career. So that's essentially my role.
I love that. And Tyler, how was your involvement here with Leo Burnett? What was the conversation like to begin with, and how did this relationship come about?
So yeah, we've been working with Melanin Gamers, with Annabel and Alan for, I want to say about 2 years now, which has been great, fantastic. And really, we knew there was an issue in gaming. We wanted to make a change, and we found Melanin Gamers and really loved their story and what they were after. So it kind of became the perfect partnership, and we've been working together ever since.
Love that. And how do you see the future of Melanin Gamers through what you're doing at Leo Barrett? What are your goals with this organization, helping them out?
I think it's really just to amplify their message. You know, they have such a great message and belief of what they want to do and how they want to change the industry. And we're here just to make sure that, you know, the more people can hear their mission and they can get into bigger rooms and talk to the right people to help make gaming a safe space for everyone.
Got that. Love that. Well, I wanted to show off your website here for you guys out there to check out themelaningamers.com. I'm going to put that in the chat right there, so if you guys can see it. Any big parts of this website that we need to know about, that people need to be directed to? What do you think, Annabelle? Any focal points?
I guess what gets updated the most is when we write articles about stuff and different things that we're doing. That probably gets the most recent updates, but this is generally legacy material, things that we've done, things that we're going to be doing. Is usually updated on social media, like our Instagram, because it's a bit faster. Like, oh, we're doing an Apex tournament next weekend. We probably wouldn't put it on the website because it's just such a quick turnaround. You know, so but that's more like when we've done it, maybe like pictures, or we'll talk about it after the fact.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's pull up your Instagram. Check that out. These are really cool. Oh, I like these graphics. Who does these? Oh my gosh, it's even a video. Who makes all this stuff?
We do.
Like you both of you, I mean? Like
no, 𝗪𝗀𝗻𝘀 is definitely the more creative of the two of us. She's the Canva expert. I'm more of typing really long blocks of text behind our panels and stuff. But 𝗪𝗻𝗀 is definitely, she's the more creative of the two.
Okay,
I just do everything else better.
I'm seeing 𝗪𝗻𝗀. I heard you say 𝗪𝗻𝗀. Now I'm seeing it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is like your gamer tag?
Yeah, it's my nickname that my mum calls me, actually, shortened from Annabel. I don't know why she picked 𝗪𝗀𝗀, but I made it my my gamer tag, and I added the creatively because I was like, I'm a creative person, so it's creatively 𝗪𝗀𝗀.
Very humble.
Golly. I don't know, Tyler. We're stuck in this. We're in this sibling rivalry here, but that's okay. Wait, where are you, Alan? Where are you living right now?
I'm in Northwest London. So
okay. So that's amazing. Okay. Well, okay. So we've gotten to this point. Melanin Gamers, the organization. We know where you find them, and we'll spend some time here at the end also promoting out socials. Thank you guys. Lots of folks on the chat right now. All the questions. Any other questions or thoughts? Just please put them in the chat. I do want to jump into this. Really, the meat of this today is when I saw this as a father of 3 and someone who works with lots of students. And the nonprofit I run, Video Games and Esports Foundation, we spend a lot of time talking about toxicity and just trying to amplify as well the people who are doing things right. And I think that's you guys. And that's why I reached out so quickly when I saw this and promoted it all over everywhere I could, because it's important. And I want to jump into the watch and to help me identify the difference between the watch, the Melanin Gamers, toxicity rating. What's the hierarchy? How does that all work? Who wants to take that question?
I'm confused. What do you mean by hierarchy? Sorry.
Well, I don't know. Like Melanin Gamer, is the watch a separate organization, or is that like a program within the Melanin Gamers, or is it
initiative?
It's an initiative. Okay, thank you. So the watch is the initiative. The toxicity rating is the program.
Suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah. Lost in translation. American Midwesterner here. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Maybe I can help clarify. So the watch is the initiative that we were going forward with, and then one of the rating, toxic rating, is the actual program of it. It's the meat of it. Gotcha. And then Melanin Gamers is a separate entity that 𝗪𝗀𝗀 founded, and then with that, in partnership with Leo Barrett, we then launched this initiative together. It's the best way I can probably describe it.
Cool. Love that. And now, is there when this first was conceptualized, what were you guys doing in Melanin Gamers? Was it just the same conversations, hearing the Call of Duty lobbies, hearing the racism, hearing the toxicity, not seeing enough with the ESA? What was the catalyst here? Like, we need this movement, we need this program, we need the toxicity rating. Where did it all start, and why?
I feel like we've always wanted to tackle toxicity in different ways. We've had panel talks, we've done roundtables, we've done workshops on how people can. So we even, when we go into schools, one of the things that we offer is like cybersecurity, how to stay safe online, things that you can do. Obviously, I'm not a fan of like you should mute your mic, but if you want to protect your mental health, sometimes you should just mute your mic.
Sure.
Because it's not every day that you want to be faced with all of that. So we've always wanted to do something. And we're so glad that we got to partner with 𝗧𝗧𝗪𝗏 on this idea to launch this initiative. And at first it was like the neighborhood watch, you know, like trying to get people to be accountable. We started Call of Duty because that's, in terms of like the big five, that's one of them up there, you know, with like League, Rust, all those games are just really, really Overwatch. And then this next one is again for parents, for people, because there's no way that they're not rating games based on online, which is now more than ever the biggest selling point of some games. Some games don't even come with a campaign anymore. It's just purely online, and that's not rated. That's crazy. You know, what are you getting yourself involved in? It's just letting people know and actually shining a light on how bad it really is, because you go and you're like, and then, oh my God, is this how it is online? And people need to know, and organizations need to be held accountable for how they're monitoring their online communities, because it just can't go on like this.
Now, Alan, I want to ask, like, the response that a lot of ignorance will come in social media posts when we talk about toxicity is what you mentioned, Nancy, was just mute your audio, mute your mic. And I totally agree. For mental health, when I'm playing League of Legends, I just don't turn the chat on, because I'm not going to spend all that time fighting in chat about what move or where I went or whatever. But then I especially don't need to hear racist banter in Call of Duty multiplayer lobbies either. But that ignorant usual response from people is just mute your mic if you don't want to hear it. And when I think about the audience today, like, we've got almost 30 people watching right now. I know there's some boomers, there's some millennials, there's some Gen Z in the chat. Can you help explain really what is happening with toxicity, Alan, in the gaming space that is just so prevalent, and why do you think it's become this bad, or
I think
bad?
that the anonymity of the internet provides people with a space where they can be the most vicious without any consequences. So that, in tandem with each other, can create like the most horrible people on this planet. But these are the same people who will never do these things like to your face and that kind of thing. So the internet has really provided a space where it can be really, really dangerous, especially if you like go in and you're unprepared. And you're unprepared for that in that kind of regard. But to your point, when it comes to muting your mic, like you said, this is very like an ignorant, but it's a very common response that we find to this initiative. Like, why don't you just mute your mic? Or like, you know, and essentially the argument is that why don't you limit your enjoyment of the game, because someone somewhere might not like take an issue with, you know, the things like I cannot control. And funny enough, this argument, if I were to take it at its most good faith, it's actually something I do agree with, like along with what my sister said, where the world isn't how we want it and we have to share it. And oftentimes, just to protect your mental headspace, just to protect your space, your zone, you know, pick your battles, you know? So, but oftentimes, maybe Andy's right, I do say oftentimes quite a bit. Oftentimes, this argument is not said in a way to protect the individual. It's used as a license to allow trolls to like hurl abuse and toxicity at others. So in that regard, I'm like vehemently opposed, because I never, you know, two things can be true at once, you know, protect your headspace, but also this isn't something that is part of the DNA of gaming. And I think that a lot of people have just come to see that behavior as normalized. And I think that is something that you have to stamp it out wherever you see it as fast as you can. Otherwise, you can get like these kind of Call of Duty lobbies where it's like, even if you try and change it just a little bit, you get such a vehement pushback, which can be like, it can shock you if you're not prepared for it.
Wow. And tell, when I look at from your perspective, working in the space and then helping promote and amplify this message, what resonated with you guys, and not just, you know, out beyond just like we're here to promote and do this work, but what resonated with you, especially as a gamer? What resonated with Leo Burnett and you in the toxicity rating?
I think really it's just how long this issue has gone on for and how it hasn't gotten any better. It's only gotten worse. You think about it, when I first started playing video games, as we mentioned off the top of the show, it was Duck Hunt. Where now in games where 100 people can sit in a lobby and chat with each other. We've seen so many advancements between now and when I started gaming, and yet the toxicity hasn't improved. I think it's only gotten worse. So for me personally, it's something where, you know, if I have the power to help make change, it's something I want to do. And my wife and I one day might have kids, and she's Cambodian, so I will have mixed children. And I want to make sure that when and if they come into the world, there's a safe space for them in online gaming where they can play.
Love that. Okay, let's walk through the toxicity rating system you guys created with a survey. I enjoyed going through it when I first found it and adding my input. But will you guys walk me through when someone goes here, and then also I need to make sure I put in the chat the what's it called? Not the survey, the project, not GoFundMe.
Petition.
The petition. Thank you. The petition. I'll put that in the chat. Make sure you guys sign that here in the chat. But toxicity rating system. What is the process? When I get to this website, can you walk me through what am I seeing? What do I need to be doing here, and why?
For sure, yeah, I can step in here. So really, the idea of the toxicity rating came out of the thought of creating a useful tool for parents, much like yourself or gamers, to really get to know the reality of online games and their communities. So we worked with a third-party research group to survey several hundred base gamers from a diverse range of age and ethnicities. And we asked survey questions that were based off of similar structure as the ESRB does when they rate their games, but we've added in to account for the toxicity people face through online play. So if you scroll down, you can click on any one of the number of games that we've rated.
Ooh. Okay, I play way too much Fortnite, and when I get mad at Fortnite, I play League of Legends. So, okay.
So you can see here, based off the research, they have a toxicity score of 76. And this was really just averaging out the survey results, which you can see there. So all the respondents, there's a percentage there that's based off the research. And then we've just given the average to get that number.
Okay. So do you feel like if, let's say, 1,000 more people take this, anybody in the list here, if 1,000 more people respond, the percentage is going to change? I guess what's the number of people that have submitted, let's say, for Fortnite? Do you know those numbers, like the amount of people who have submitted the survey to get these numbers, the sample size?
So the sample size per game, I don't have the exact numbers. It was a base of several hundred gamers. And then we do have the survey live right now, so people can go on, and we are planning to update the results. And the idea behind that is, you know, if you get a larger sample size, you get true data numbers, but also if, you know, games like Minecraft or Fortnite, if the developers actually enact change and help with toxicity, we might be able to see those numbers go down based on the initiatives they're doing on their end.
Okay. Love this. Alan, when you look at this, list, what are you surprised about, or what are you not surprised about when it comes to these first 5 here we have?
I think that there's a lot of games that kind of go underneath the radar because of the kind of games that they are. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh my gosh, Minecraft! Why is that up there?" Or like games like Roblox and games like these are games that are targeted towards a lot of young people, and the amount of freedom in these games can be very scary. And I don't mean freedom as in like the game mechanics and how the game actually plays, but also the kind of lobbies and the kind of forums that these games can harbor when like there is not enough like care and attention focused on these kinds of areas. You can see like a lot of very like dangerous interactions occur in those kinds of places. So a lot of people are like, but these games are like so childlike and they're so like this and they're so like that. But it's like, that is true, but there's also what can happen when you don't monitor it, especially in the forums and the public discussion kind of places. So yeah, so we got a lot of pushback on that kind of front. But I'm like, it's not just the gameplay itself that can kind of promote that kind of toxicity. It's also the forums that come along with it and the kind of age of the kind of age of gamers that are in those kinds of places.
Okay. So Nancy, when I click this survey, I'm able to then rate a game. So I think I did Fortnite. But I'll try Call of Duty because I know I'm a very much turn my mic off, and I really did love what you said, Alan. Like, why limit your enjoyment because of someone else? So that really hit home with me. But this survey, Nancy, like, okay, what are the typical questions I'm gonna get here as I go through? Annabel, if you're able to.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. Thanks. Kept calling you Nancy. Like, sorry.
It's okay. You can call me Nancy. Everyone else does. It's just your experience of the game, and different things that will alert us as to, I guess, I can't remember everything on the survey, but I think it would talk about profanity and different things that you would experience, mostly all online, how the online spaces, because that's what our focus is on. How is your experience online? So that is, it's going to take you through like different questions as to what do you experience online, you know, that's
essentially. Sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, as me as a white male, a cisgender white male, compared to African American male, as we may see here in the States, and compared to someone in the LGBT community, plus community, and or just cis female, like we're all gonna answer this first question differently, right? And so, is there data on who's answering, or maybe what they identify as? By chance later?
Yeah, so at the very end of the survey, we do ask those questions. So people can fill out where they're from, what they identify as, and that. So we do have that data, and we will be sharing that out as we get more of it. But really, this survey right here, we're blending a bit of what the ESRB already asks, so just common questions. And then what we've done is we've added in the focus on what the online community experiences, which is, you know, do you experience racism, gender discrimination, violence towards others? So do people threaten you during the game? Is there crude humor or controlled substance conversations? And this is all while playing the game online and interacting with the online gaming community.
Okay. And Alan, I want to come to you. It's funny, I was just talking to Max J at the ESRB. I gave the link to the show, so hopefully he drops in the chat and says something, because this is kind of also the push to help recognize, give that rating system the same kind of focus it has with the ESRB. But Alan, you were going to say something. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, it was something along those lines where it's like, oftentimes, well, Jesus, a lot of the time, these kinds of like reviews are a little bit slow on the uptake, especially how fast the industry moves. And I think that when it comes to the online aspects, like Anzi was saying earlier, we as a industry, we're still very slow on the uptake of actually like monitoring these kinds of spaces and like what exactly do we want to have as a community? What do we want our community to look like when we're playing these games? And a lot of these, like quite a few companies are just taking like a backseat approach where they want someone else to try and like solve this issue rather than take it upon themselves to try and solve it. So we're saying the accountability is for everyone. So let's have everyone try and come up with a solution for this issue.
Okay. Well, I want to finish this up, but I also don't want to give bad data. I just want to get to the last page. I want everybody to see the pages, and see what kind of questions you get. And it is very true that as I go through Call of Duty here, I definitely think of the toxicity. What I tend to call it is hyper domestication, hypersexualization as well with females in the game, which there's honestly great content out there. If you guys haven't seen it, on short form content of people like 𝗏𝗏, who she gets told in the first round of a multiplayer map to go in the kitchen and make a sandwich, and then by map 2 she says activating sandwich mode, and she destroys all the guys and they have nothing to say, obviously. And so I love those videos, because yeah, there's so many great athletes out there and players, and it's a sad thing. But with this rating system, where do you want, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want people to know? What do you want to fix in the industry? What needs to be said? Like, what are the steps and what is the purpose and the goal in a year from now? Where do you want to be with this toxicity rating?
I think the first step with me whenever addressing a problem is actually addressing it and saying, yeah, this problem exists. Because even then, it was very difficult for people to admit or say this is a problem. And before we even get to the solution, first of all, look at this problem. This problem exists. There is a problem that needs fixing. And then the second step is, how do we fix this issue? And just showing there needs to be transparency in terms of what we want is hopefully for working with ESRB to make this, that's America's and Canada's. In Europe, we have PEGI, which is it's the same sort of body, but and adding that to their system in terms of getting online a rating system, and just showing people that this is what you kind of face when you go online. There's a rating for a game if it's a campaign, but if it's online, well, parents and gamers, this is what you should expect when you go onto this game. And so it's really important for them to accept that this is a problem, and that this problem has a solution, or also work on the solution as well. So those are the kind of steps for me whenever there's an issue. It's, let's address the problem and accept that there is a problem, then let's work on the solution, and let's have some transparency and accountability. And then we go forward from there. I would love to remove all toxicity in gaming, but I'm also a realist. Sure. If we can just lessen it, that would be great, because some people are coming off games, which is what some of the comments that I had, and I've actually screenshot it. Like, they said they've come off games because it was too terrible and it was really bad, and you're losing people. You know, we're losing gamers because of this, and so that's also really sad.
Well, and I think you're under the stigma of gaming, first of all, and yeah, you mentioned the States and our discussions around gun violence and video game use and how they're not connected. But then also, I play pickup basketball 3 times a week, and yeah, we talk a lot of smack to each other, and maybe we talk smack to my friends when we play games, but it's a whole different level, right? It's a whole different level when we're talking about what you guys are focusing on. And I'll say things like, for my 3 boys, we use things like common sense media to figure out what rating a movie should be, and what we look at ESRB for what the game is going to provide, in the sense of, is it E for everyone or whatnot. But common sense media does break down, is there language, is there sexuality in the movie? So, okay, my kids can't watch this. So I feel like this is another big step compared to what ESRB has now added on, like cartoon violence and all the other kind of little things. And I think you guys mentioned that in some of your writing. But this is another big step for what's happening inside the game. And I truly appreciate it. Alan, I want to get your thoughts on where you want this toxicity rating to be, and what do you want to see it accomplish?
Yeah, so firstly, I also agree. I agree. I'm also of the same mind. I do a lot of trash talking when it comes to my friends. Sure. When it comes to the fighting games, when we're playing Mortal Kombat and Tekken, like, I'm very about that life. So, but having this initiative is very important, because there, like you said, there is a very clear, distinctive difference between that kind of trash talking where it's in jest, and that kind of like horror stories that some people have come to us saying how like there can be like persistent campaigns of like hatred being spewed towards someone. But also what I want to see from this initiative, the end goal I should say, is we want to see like a dramatic shift, and also like resources and productivity being done by major companies, and hoping that with those major companies, the smaller ones will then also follow suit, like actually putting time and resources into having these kinds of systems in place that can actually protect their player base, rather than just leaving it like just out in the cold. Because I can't name them off the top of my head, but there is work being done in that space when it comes to like the monitoring of different kinds of voice chats, and like the monitoring of voice chat and that kind of thing. So there is the technology is out there, but just there is never any time or resources put towards it because it's not seen.
True.
Doesn't hit their bottom line.
You're exactly right, and we try to push this. We try to push this to the publishers, the game developers, to say, look, even something like Discord or Instagram or whatever, we're trying to set a standard as people using these platforms to say we want more safety, we want more accountability, and then the reverse may be parents need to learn how to. There's I think it's all of us, right? It's all of us, and you make really good points. Tyler, I want to jump in this last part as we finish up here with the petition, as we wrap up today. Can you tell me about the petition here from the Watch and toxicity rating?
Yeah, we just wanted to have a little bit of a petition to show, people are supportive of the idea, get more people involved, and really push to have a conversation with the ESRB. We think they do a fantastic job of rating games and rating the story aspect. But as we touched upon earlier, as the online community grows within gaming and becoming more important, like we all know you have to have good comms to win a match. We just feel like we need to update the way games are rated and include stuff to factor in the online community of these games.
Yeah, love that. Well, I put the link in the chat for toxicity rating, also the link in the chat to vote on change.org for the petition or sign the petition. I signed the first day. I think it's valuable, and hopefully we can continue to have some conversations with the ESRB about this, and I'll do whatever I can. If you guys, I will lay across railroad tracks, whatever it takes to help you guys with this. I'm happy to help, but I'm going to stop talking for this last minute. And if there's anything you guys want to share, I'll start with Annabelle, then Alan, and then Tyler. Your last thoughts as we close down.
My last thoughts are I encourage people to go to the website and fill it out based on games that they've played, because of course the more of us who are sharing our experiences, the more accurate the data will be. So I really, really encourage people to go and do that, and also sign the petition as well, because we do want to make gaming a safer space for everyone to enjoy. So please, please, please go and do that.
Of the similar, I echo this similar what you call it, the words that you said in that sentence were amazing.
Sentiment?
That's the word. So yeah, I echo the same sentiment. And Baba, we never actually got your favorite game, so the game that started you off, so we should definitely get that for the crowd as well.
Mario was the first one, obviously, because I'm 42, and my mom's in the chat there, obviously. And then I played way too much World of Warcraft for way too many years. So that's it. Yeah, good question. Thank you. Tyler?
Yeah, I just want to echo everything that's been said. We really want everyone to join in, fill out the surveys. And my personal hope is one day game developers can work closely with their communities and organizations like Melanin Gamers. Like these two folks have been great in that. And hopefully one day we won't need something like the Watch to exist, because communities and these developers are going to work hand in hand. But obviously we know it's a long road. So until then, we'll keep watch.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. Our nonprofit, we want to fund ourselves out of existence. We want schools and communities to help with STEM education in these organizations, these communities, these schools. So I totally agree with that. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today. If you're out there, please go to the link, toxicityrating.com, find the survey to fill that out. Thank you guys so much for being in the chat. All of you, really great discussion. All those who have come today. Wow, we've had quite a few people in today. But I really appreciate what you're doing. Thanks so much for taking the time. Anzi, Alan, Tyler, thank you for coming on today. And let's continue this conversation. If there's people I need to get in front of you guys or put this in front of them, I will do that. And I couldn't say enough good things about what you guys are doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, well, I'm going to shut down the show, and feel free if you want to hang out in the control room. I'll be right back to hang out with you guys. Thanks, y'all.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming today to Good Morning Gamers. Check out another show later today. Zach Teep and I are going to play some Fall Guys on Invite Sent. Appreciate you all coming today. Lots of great discussion in the chat. We will see you here this afternoon. If not, we'll see you next time on Invite Sent, or on Good Morning Gamers, or The Rave Show, or Spotlight. If you're one of those folks that have been laid off in the gaming industry, we're happy to have a conversation and promote what you're doing in the gaming esports space, so hopefully you can find a new career. All right, guys, stay amazing. See ya.
Hello there, gamers and mental health enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a groundbreaking study that explores the intersection of scholarly gaming and mental health education, and how it can impact the self-esteem of adolescents. Picture this: a world where scholarly gaming isn't just about mastering technology-based career skills or dominating the world of video game business. No, it's a world where gaming becomes a gateway to improving mental health. 3 visionary educators and a school-based health intervention expert came together to create a curriculum that aligns with academic guidelines from the International Society for Technology Education. This curriculum spans 40 lessons, delivered over 14 weeks with a minimum of 120 minutes per week. But here's the twist: 83 schools were invited to participate, but they were divided into 2 groups, those with mental health moments and those without. The non-mental health moment group got the scholarly gaming curriculum alone, while the mental health moment group got an extra layer of education. Mental health moments were embedded into 27 lessons, integrating concepts from the PERMA framework and the Collaborative Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning Standards, otherwise known as CASEL. Now, let's meet our players. 471 participants from both groups, with almost 75% in high school, many experiencing scholarly gaming for the first time. A majority were male, and the racial diversity was broad. At the start, the average self-esteem score was 17.9, with 22.1% reporting low self-esteem. But hold on, the game's just beginning. As the study progressed, it revealed some fascinating results. While 57.7% of participants with low self-esteem at the beginning reported average self-esteem post-intervention, the mental health moments group stole the spotlight. Self-esteem scores improved by 8.3% in the mental health moments group, compared to no change in the non-mental health moments group. How's that for a power-up? Some students even shifted from abnormally low self-esteem scores to normal ranges. The message is loud and clear. Educators, healthcare providers, and adolescent advocates pay attention. Non-traditional educational instructions, like scholarly gaming, combined with mental health moments, can significantly improve students' well-being. And there you have it, a journey through the power of scholarly gaming and mental health moments. Remember, your self-esteem matters, and sometimes all it takes is a little extra support to level up. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Until next time, keep gaming, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
It's making history at 𝗥𝗲𝗳𝗀. And there it is! Both platforms online and dip will take it home. What a game.
Take a victory lap, take a bow, and take the headsets off and start to yell.
Life is busy. Every day we ask questions like, what's happening today? What should I wear? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are bigger questions like, why am I here? What's my purpose? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this? These are some of life's big questions, but there's rarely enough time to think them through. That's why Alpha exists. Alpha is a place to explore life's big questions in a safe and open environment. It's a series of sessions where anyone can share their thoughts and opinions and ask questions without feeling judged. When you come to an Alpha, you'll notice that first, there's food. Whether it's a full meal or a light snack, this is the time to get to know each other in a casual setting. Next, you'll watch an Alpha talk. The talks are created to engage and spark conversation. They explore big issues around faith from a Christian perspective. After the talk is a time for discussion. This is the most essential part of any Alpha. It allows everyone to share their own opinions on the ideas presented in the talks. It's a time for people with different thoughts, beliefs, and experiences to ask honest questions and have open conversation. Every week, there are guests coming for the first time to an Alpha in their community. Alpha is for everyone, regardless of background or beliefs. There's no pressure, no follow-up, and it's completely free to attend. Come and explore life's big questions. Find an Alpha near you today.